his lifetime fighting to change it.
Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
The past and present was somber, but he would fight for a brighter future. As a dedicated father of 4 young children, he had a dream that they would be able to grow up in a nation where they would not be judged by the color of their skin, but by their personal qualities and the force of their character. He hoped that America would become a colorblind society where race would not impact a person's civil rights. He dedicated his lifetime to support a cause that he strongly believed in, and for that, he became one of the most important figures, not just in American history, but in the story of our Earth. This is the journey of his fight for freedom.
We can never be satisfied as long as the Negro is the victim of the unspeakable horrors of police brutality. We can never be satisfied as long as our children are stripped of their selfhood and robbed of their dignity by signs stating for whites only.
Only 64 years after the end of slavery, Martin Luther King Jr. was born in Atlanta, Georgia on January 15, 1929. His father was an African-American preacher, and Martin was inspired by him to pursue the same path. Soon, he excelled in public speaking, and following the footsteps of his father, he began lifting spirits of his communities. At 13, he enrolled into Booker T. Washington High School, the only school for black students in the city at the time. He then skipped grades and went to Morehouse College at the young age of 15. He was ordained a minister at 18. At 26, after getting a degree in sociology from college and a divinity degree from Crozer Seminary, he got his PhD in theology from Boston University, becoming Dr. Martin Luther King. While in Boston, he fell in love with Coretta Scott, a music student. She became his wife in 1953. Later, they would have 4 children. King grew up carrying the weight of oppression on his shoulders. In the 40s, another country was also fighting for its freedom. Mahatma Gandhi was leading India's fight for independence from Great Britain, but it wasn't an ordinary fight. He had a unique approach. Gandhi's emphasis was on love, peace, and tolerance, and he was using nonviolence and civil disobedience to protest the rule of the British over India. King was greatly inspired by his approach, and he saw that it had potential to work in his country too. Like Gandhi, he understood that violence wouldn't be a solution, and that it would only justify more brutality from the government. In 1955, it was still the law that black people had to give up their seat for white people if all seats had been taken on the bus. This had always enraged him. But one day, a black woman named Rosa Parks boldly refused to give up her seat. She was arrested, but she sparked a revolution. On this day, a period of change began. King led his first major civil rights action by leading the Montgomery bus boycott. He declared they would no longer pay the fare and ride the bus, which caused the public transportation system to lose a lot of money.
Here's to the spatially challenged, the nearsighted and far. Here's a sense of directionless, to the dingers, denters, and ash buff ride-outers. Good to go, we see you, and know that accidents happen. Good to go is here to give you auto insurance. For as little as $20 down and low monthly payments, To Go makes it easy to get approved and insured on the road fast. Get what you need. It's proof of insurance and be on your way. I promise you won't drive fast. When others say no, we say you're good. Visit bit.com.
Deep in credit card debt. Did you know creditors can help you reduce that debt? It's not nearly as complicated as you think. Let me show you what I mean. First, there's the total of credit card debt. Whoa! We can reduce that by almost half. decades, you'll be dead. We reduce that down to as little as 20 or 36 months, giving you up to 20 debt-free years back. Asking how the stress and anxiety from being in debt. We can help reduce that too. It's easy to get started. Call out to see how associates can reduce your debt and save you thousands. The information is free and there's no 1-800-600-0280. Call Credit Associates now to start getting better. Debt free. 1-800-600-0280.
For several weeks now, we, the Negro citizens of Montgomery, have been involved in non-violent protest against the injustices which we have experienced on the buses for a number of years. This is a non-violent protest. We're depending on moral and spiritual forces, using the method of passive resistance.
The boycott that he hopefully expected to last for one day lasted for over a year. King action gave rise to a wave of hostility from the government and death threats against him. The head of the FBI even had him placed under surveillance as a communist. He had powerfulness and times were 10, but he refused to cooperate with an evil system. Man's humanity to man is what he called it. He thought that if America could remain a first-class nation, could not have second-class citizens.
Now. Your repeated cliches, the time is not right, Negroes are not culturally ready, are stench in the nostrils of God. The time is always right to do what is right. Now is the time to make real the promises of democracy. Now is the time to transform the peak and ever live midnight. A man bring humanity to man into a growing age of injustice. Now is the time to open the doors of opportunity to all of God's children. Now is the time to change pending national effort into a creative psalm of brotherly love.
In 1956, he was arrested for the first time, and his house was bombed. Luckily, him and his family were left unharmed. This only fueled his desire to push through. We must hate love and violence with non-violence, he claimed in a speech invoking the words of Jesus. He stressed the importance to have love and compassion for the enemy, and to realize that even the strongest opponents are also human, and human life was sacred to him. Despite his arrest, the Montgomery bus boycott gained national attention. At last, a year after Rosa Parks' arrest, on November 13, 1956, the Supreme Court declared bus segregation illegal.
This morning, the long-awaited mandate from the United States Supreme Court concerning bus segregation came to Montgomery. Hereby the ruling handed down by the United States Supreme Court, ordering desegregation of public areas. This mandate expresses intents that are crystal clear. Segregation in public transportation is both legally and sociologically valid.
King had just experienced his first triumph and had just proven to be a powerful young leader. In 1957, he formed Southern Christian Leadership Conference, which trained people in nonviolent resistance in hope to create more leaders and expand the civil rights movement. This worked, and it soon reached nationwide proportions.
We will get together and be together. Black people, Mexican Americans, American Indians, Puerto Ricans, Appalachian whites, all working together to solve the problem of poverty. For those who say to me, "Sit the civil rights," I have another answer. That is that I fought too long and too hard now against segregated public accommodations to end up segregating my moral concern. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We are tired of living in run-down, dilapidated, rat-infested shacks and slums. We are tired of our children having to attend overcrowded, inferior schools. And we are tired of our men not being able to be men because they can't find work.
King made his first national speech at a civil rights rally in Washington. Throughout the 50s, he stood at the front of the movement. And despite being arrested multiple times, he still claimed he was proud of what he was doing. He was giving people back their dignity and self-respect.
The Negro came to feel that he was somebody. His religion revealed to him that God loves all of his children and that all men are made in his image. And that the basic thing about a man is not his specificity, but his fundamental. Not the texture of his hair or the color of his skin, but his eternal dignity and worth. So the Negro in America can now cry out unconsciously with the eloquent poet, fleecy locks and black complexion cannot forfeit nature's claim. Skin may differ, but affection dwells in black and white the same. And were I so tall as to reach the pole or to grasp the ocean at span, I must be measured by my soul. The mind is the standard of the man. With this new sense of dignity and this new sense of self-respect, a new Negro came into being with a new determination to suffer, to struggle, to sacrifice, and even to die if necessary in order to be free. And this reveals that we have come a long, long way.
My finances are very out of control.
Having a family and the finances, it's a tough balancing act.
You're sitting here at the end of the month looking at all the bills thinking there's got to be a better way.
Introducing the NetSpend Prepaid MasterCard. There's no credit check and no cost to order.
I dedicate my life to helping people achieve their potential and discover the tools to make that happen. That's why I'm excited to tell you about NetSpend Prepaid MasterCard. This, my friends, is more than just a card. Use it anywhere debit MasterCard is accepted. You can use it to shop online, pay bills, buy gas. And get this, with NetSpend and direct deposit, you could get paid up to 2 days earlier. Just think about how much that could help.
My coworkers are always like, how do you have your check already? I'm like, that's because I use NetSpend.
Even better, you can earn cashback rewards on many of your purchases.
That money goes right back into my account, and I love it.
With NetSpend and direct deposit, your paycheck or benefits check loads into your card account. No more standing in check cashing lines or running to the bank or waiting by the mailbox. Each time you make a purchase, you get a text that shows the amount and your new balance. NetSpend's mobile app is so convenient and puts your money at your fingertips wherever you are. You can even send or receive money from friends and family right through the app.
With the app, it's very easy to transfer money to family and friends.
There's a $10 purchase cushion in case you come up a little short. With your NetSpend card, you got this.
I got this.
I got this.
With NetSpend, I got this.
Call now. There's no cost to order and no credit check to start. With NetSpend, you pay no interest fees, late fees, or activation fees because this is not a credit card. Don't miss out.
Order now. Be one of the first 200 callers and choose your card color. 1-800-664-9074. That's 1-800-664-9074. Get paid up to 2 days faster with NetSpend.
In 1958, a mentally ill black woman attempted to assassinate King by stabbing him with a letter opener. He survived the attack. After his recovery, him and his wife visited India, and he became more convinced than ever before that nonviolent action was the best weapon available to them. The more violence he received, the more peaceful he remained.
Let me say to you that we must continue to work with the right method and the right attitude. I know the temptations that come to us, those of us who have been trampled over by the iron feet of oppression so long, those of us who've been the last hired and the first fired so long, those of us who have seen the viciousness of lynching mobs with our own eyes, those of us who have known the tragedies